I was sitting in the conference room when my boss slid the revised commission statement across the table. My name is Rachel. I'm a senior sales account manager at a mid-sized software firm in the Midwest. I've been here 4 years. This was supposed to be my biggest quarter. The number on the page was wrong. I closed the Delaney contract 3 weeks ago. It was a 2-year enterprise deal worth $400,000. My commission on that alone should have been $32,000. The statement showed 8. I looked up. My boss was leaning back in his chair, arms crossed. He didn't look uncomfortable. He looked bored. There was a policy update, he said. Effective this quarter. Enterprise deals over $300,000 now fall under a different commission structure. It's in the updated handbook. I didn't say anything. I just looked at the paper. You'll still get paid, he continued, just not at the old rate. The company's tightening margins. You understand. I understood perfectly. The Delaney contract was signed before the policy change. I had the timestamps. I had the emails. I had the signed offer letter from HR that outlined my original commission terms when I was hired. But he was watching me, waiting for me to argue, waiting for me to get emotional. I slid the paper back across the table. Okay, I said. He blinked, just once. Okay? Yes. I stood up, smoothed my jacket, and left the room. I went back to my desk and sat down. I didn't open my email. I didn't call anyone. I just sat there for a moment. Then I went home. That night, I sat at my kitchen table with the commission statement in front of me. I looked at it for a long time. I didn't move. I just looked. Then I got up and made tea. When I came back, I opened my laptop. I pulled up my offer letter, the one I'd signed 4 years ago when they hired me. I read it once. Then I closed the laptop. I drank my tea. I didn't think about anything else. The next morning, I opened the offer letter again. Page 3, Section 5, Commission Structure. Enterprise deals closed by senior account managers would be compensated at 8% of the contract value for the first year and 4% for renewal years. No exceptions listed. No policy override clause. I read it twice more. Then I opened the company handbook. Both versions, the current one and the one from before the update. The commission structure change was real. It was buried in Section 12 under Revised Compensation Guidelines, effective immediately. But my contract predated the handbook, and my offer letter didn't include language that allowed the company to unilaterally alter my compensation terms. I saved both documents to a separate folder on an external drive I kept at home. Not in the cloud, not on the company server. At home. I labeled the folder clearly. Commission Review. Then I closed my laptop and went to bed. The next week, I went back to work like nothing had happened. My boss didn't bring it up. He sent me new leads. He asked for pipeline updates. He copied me on strategy emails. I responded to everything. I stayed professional. I hit my calls. I updated the system. I smiled in meetings. But I didn't close any new deals. I could have. I had 3 contracts in negotiation. All of them were close. One was practically signed. But I let them sit. I followed up just enough to keep them warm. I didn't push. On Thursday afternoon, I saw my boss in the break room. He was making coffee. I walked in to refill my water bottle. He glanced at me, smiled. "How's the Morrison account?" he asked. "Moving forward," I said. "Good. Let me know if you need anything." "I will." He left. I filled my water bottle. I went back to my desk. He thought it was over. That Friday, he pulled me into his office. He didn't sit down. Neither did I. "You've been quiet," he said. "I'm working." "Your pipeline's stalled." "I'm managing it." He looked at me for a long moment. Then he shook his head. "Don't take this personally, Rachel. It's just business. The margins are tight. We all have to adapt." I nodded. Understood. He waited for me to say more. I didn't. He dismissed me with a wave. I left. That weekend, I pulled my offer letter again. I read it 3 times. Then I read every section, line by line. There was something I hadn't paid attention to before. Section 8, Dispute Resolution. It outlined the process for resolving disagreements between the employee and the company regarding compensation or terms of employment. Step 1 was internal resolution, HR mediation. Step 2 was binding arbitration. But there was a carve-out. If the dispute involved a breach of contract, either party could pursue legal remedies instead of arbitration. I took a photo of the clause with my phone. I zoomed in. I read it on the screen. I read it again. Then I saved the photo. I spent Sunday thinking. I didn't draft anything. I didn't call anyone. I just thought. On Monday morning, I opened my email and started writing. I kept it short. I attached 3 documents: my original offer letter, the Delaney contract with the close date, my revised commission statement. The subject line was simple: commission discrepancy. The body was 2 sentences. My commission for the Delaney contract was calculated using a policy implemented after the contract was closed. My offer letter does not include provisions allowing unilateral changes to my compensation structure. Please review. I didn't copy anyone. I didn't escalate. I didn't threaten. I just sent it to HR. Then I went back to work. HR responded within 2 hours. They thanked me for bringing it to their attention. They said they'd review the matter and follow up within 5 business days. Then nothing. Day 3. I checked my email in the morning. Nothing from HR. I went to a team meeting. My boss ran through the quarterly forecast. He asked for input from the senior reps. He didn't ask me. I didn't say anything. Day 5. I saw Laura from HR in the hallway. She was walking toward the elevator. She saw me. She smiled. "Hi, Rachel." "Hi." She kept walking. Day 6. My boss called me into his office. He asked me to take on a new account, a small one. It had been assigned to a junior rep before. "I think you'd be a good fit for this," he said. I looked at the account summary. It was worth maybe $50,000. "Sure," I said. He seemed pleased. I went back to my desk and added it to my pipeline. Day 7. Still nothing from HR. I went home. I didn't refresh my email. I made dinner. I went to bed. Day 8. The meeting request arrived. It was from Laura, Director of Human Resources. The meeting was scheduled for Thursday at 2. I accepted. When Thursday came, I brought a notebook. I didn't bring my phone. I didn't bring printed documents. I didn't need them. Laura was waiting in the conference room. She was alone. She had a folder in front of her. She smiled when I walked in. It wasn't warm. "Rachel, thanks for meeting with me." "Of course." She gestured for me to sit. I did. She opened the folder. Inside were copies of the same documents I'd sent: my offer letter, the Delaney contract, the commission statement. "I've reviewed your email," she said, "and I've spoken with your manager." I waited. The policy change was applied across the entire sales team. It wasn't targeted. It was a business decision based on updated financial projections. I understand that, I said, but my offer letter doesn't allow for retroactive changes to my commission structure. The Delaney contract was closed before the policy went into effect. She nodded slowly. I see your point, but the handbook does state that company policies can be updated at any time. The handbook isn't my contract, I said. My offer letter is. She paused. She looked down at the folder, then back at me. What are you asking for, Rachel? I'm asking for the commission I earned, $32,000, as outlined in my original offer letter. She didn't answer right away. She closed the folder. She folded her hands on top of it. I'll need to escalate this, she said. That's fine. It may take some time. I understand. She stood. I stood. We'll be in touch, she said. I left the building and went back to my desk. I didn't check my email. I didn't refresh my inbox. I just kept working. 2 weeks passed. Nothing. My boss started assigning me smaller accounts. The Morrison account. I'd been working it for 2 months. He gave it to Derek. Then the Callahan renewal. That one I'd closed myself last year. He reassigned it to a junior rep named Amy. He didn't explain. He just updated the system and sent me the notifications. I took the new accounts. I worked them. I didn't complain. In the next team meeting, he announced the pipeline changes. He talked about redistribution, about balancing workload. He didn't look at me. I sat in the back. I took notes. I didn't ask questions. After the meeting, a coworker stopped by my desk. Her name was Jennifer. She leaned in. Are you okay? I'm fine, I said. I'm good, thanks. She nodded and walked away. I kept working the small accounts. I hit every metric. I returned every call. I updated every report. My boss walked past my desk one afternoon. He slowed down. He looked at my screen. Then he kept walking. I didn't look up. On a Tuesday morning, 3 weeks after the meeting with Laura, I got another meeting request. This time, it wasn't from HR. It was from the CFO. His name was Greg. I'd never spoken to him directly. I'd seen him in all-hands meetings, but we'd never been in the same room. The meeting was scheduled for Friday at 10. I accepted. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't ask my boss. I just showed up. Greg's office was on the top floor. It had windows that looked out over the parking lot. He was sitting behind his desk when I walked in. Laura was there too. She was sitting in one of the chairs across from him. Greg gestured to the empty chair. Rachel, have a seat. I sat. He didn't waste time. I reviewed your commission dispute, he said, and I've reviewed your offer letter. I nodded. You're correct. The policy change shouldn't have been applied retroactively to contracts closed before the effective date. I didn't react. I just listened. We're going to honor your original commission structure for the Delaney contract. You'll receive the full $32,000. Thank you. He leaned back in his chair. But I want to be clear about something. Going forward, all sales team members will be operating under the updated commission structure. That includes you. I understand. Good. He looked at Laura. She opened a folder and slid a document across the desk toward me. This is an amended offer letter, she said. It reflects the updated commission structure and supersedes your original agreement. We need you to sign it. I picked up the document. I read it. It was exactly what she said it was. The new commission structure. The same one my boss had tried to apply retroactively. I set it down. I'll need time to review this. Greg's expression didn't change. Take the time you need, but we'll need a signature by the end of next week. I nodded. Understood. I stood. They didn't stop me. I went back to my desk and opened my laptop. I searched for employment attorneys in the area. I found 3 that specialized in contract disputes. I emailed all of them. I attached my offer letter and the amended agreement. 2 responded within a day. One of them was named Catherine. She worked out of a small firm downtown. Her email was direct. She said the amended offer letter was legal as long as I signed it, but I wasn't required to sign it. If I refused, the company could choose to terminate my employment. But if they did, I'd have a strong case for wrongful termination based on retaliation. She also said something else. If my original offer letter didn't include an at-will employment clause, the company might not be able to terminate me without cause. I opened my offer letter again. I read it line by line. There was no at-will clause. I called Catherine that afternoon. We spoke for 20 minutes. She explained my options. I could sign the amended offer. I could refuse and risk termination. Or I could negotiate. I asked her what she'd do. She paused. If they terminate you for refusing, they're walking into retaliation. But they know that. They'll try to pressure you into signing. Don't. What if they just wait me out? I asked. Then you wait longer. I sat with that for a moment. Okay. She asked if I wanted to retain her. I said yes. She sent me an engagement letter. I signed it. I paid the retainer. The following Monday, Laura sent me a follow-up email. She asked if I'd had a chance to review the amended offer letter. She said they were hoping to finalize everything by the end of the week. I replied, I've reviewed the document. I'm not prepared to sign at this time. She responded within an hour. Can you clarify your concerns? I didn't reply. On Wednesday, my boss called me into his office. He closed the door behind me. He didn't sit. Neither did I. You need to sign the offer letter, he said. I'm still reviewing it. There's nothing to review. It's the same structure everyone else is on. I understand that. Then what's the problem? I looked at him. He looked frustrated, maybe a little nervous. I'm not comfortable signing an agreement that alters the terms of my original contract without additional consideration. He blinked. Additional consideration? Correct. He stared at me. Then he shook his head. This isn't a negotiation, Rachel. I didn't say it was. He stepped closer, not threateningly, just enough to make his point. If you don't sign by Friday, we'll assume you're not interested in continuing here. I understand. He waited. I didn't say anything else. He opened the door. I left. On Friday, I didn't sign the amended offer letter. I also didn't hear from HR. The weekend passed, then Monday, then Tuesday. On Wednesday, I got another meeting request from Greg. This time, Laura wasn't included. The meeting was scheduled for that afternoon. I went. Greg was alone this time. He didn't smile when I walked in. He didn't gesture to a chair. He just looked at me. You didn't sign the offer letter. No. Can I ask why? I don't believe the amended terms are equitable given my performance and tenure. Equitable. Correct. He leaned forward. Rachel, I'm going to be direct with you. If you don't sign, we're going to terminate your employment. On what grounds? Failure to comply with updated company policy. My original offer letter doesn't require compliance with retroactive policy changes. It also doesn't include an at-will employment provision. He stopped. He didn't blink, just looked at me for 3 seconds. Then he picked up his phone. He called someone. I couldn't hear the other side of the conversation, but his side was short. We need to talk, now. He hung up. He looked at me. Wait here. He left the room. I sat. I didn't check my phone. I didn't move. 10 minutes later, he came back. Laura was with him. So was someone else. A man I didn't recognize. He was wearing a suit. He introduced himself as the company's outside counsel. His name was Mark. He sat down across from me. Greg and Laura stayed standing. Mark opened a laptop. He pulled up a document. He turned the screen toward me. "Your offer letter," he said. "Yes. You're correct. There's no at-will clause. There's also no provision allowing us to unilaterally modify your compensation structure." I nodded. "Which means," he continued, "if we terminate you without cause, you'd have grounds for a wrongful termination claim." "I'm aware." He closed the laptop. "So here's what we're proposing. We'll withdraw the amended offer letter. You'll continue under your original commission structure, but only for contracts you personally close. Any contracts assigned to you after today will fall under the updated structure." I considered it. "And the $24,000 in lost commission from the Delaney contract?" Mark glanced at Greg. Greg's jaw tightened. "We've already agreed to honor the original structure for that contract. You agreed to pay me $32,000. You paid me $8,000. The difference is $24,000. Mark nodded. "You'll receive the difference in your next paycheck." "In full?" "In full." I looked at Greg. He wasn't looking at me. "What about my current pipeline?" I asked. Mark hesitated. "What about it?" "I have 3 contracts in negotiation. All of them were initiated before the policy change. If I close them, do they fall under my original structure or the updated one?" Mark looked at Greg again. Greg looked at Laura. Laura looked at the floor. Mark sighed. "We'll need to discuss that internally." He stood. He stepped out of the room. Greg and Laura followed. I sat alone in the conference room. I didn't check my phone. I just sat there. 5 minutes later, they came back. Mark sat down. "Your current pipeline will be protected under your original structure." "In writing?" He paused, then nodded. "Yes." "And my current accounts remain mine? No reassignments?" Greg finally spoke. "Yes." I nodded. "Then I accept." Mark stood. He shook my hand. Laura didn't say anything. Greg didn't look at me. I left the office. The following week, I received a formal letter from HR. It confirmed everything Mark had outlined. My original commission structure would remain in place for contracts I personally sourced and closed. The $24,000 would be paid in full. My pipeline was protected. I also received my revised commission statement. The full $32,000 was listed. I didn't celebrate. I didn't tell anyone in the office. I just deposited the check. 3 weeks later, I closed all 3 contracts in my pipeline. 2 of them were enterprise deals. My commission totaled $68,000. My boss didn't congratulate me. He didn't stop by my desk. He didn't send an email. But I saw him watching me during the quarterly sales meeting when they announced the numbers. He looked tired. 2 months after that, the company announced a restructure. My boss was reassigned to a different division, a smaller one. His replacement was a woman named Karen. She'd been with the company for 6 years. She introduced herself to the team on her first day. She was professional, direct. She didn't make promises. But when she pulled me aside after the meeting, she said something I hadn't expected. "I've reviewed your file. I know what happened. That won't happen again." I nodded. "Thank you." She left. I went back to my desk. I opened my laptop. I looked at my pipeline. I'd learned something in that building, something I carry with me now. Silence isn't weakness. Documentation isn't paranoia. And a contract is only as strong as your willingness to enforce it. They thought I'd fold. They thought I'd take the loss and move on. They were wrong.